Hi, it's Alan Begg here from McMaths, and welcome to this week's lesson. This week's lesson is going to be on top-heavy fractions, also known as improper fractions. Here's some examples of top-heavy or improper fractions. 13 fifths, 4 thirds, 27 eighths. Let's have a little review of what fractions are before we get on to this week's lesson. So, first things first, what is a fraction? A fraction is a piece of something, not the whole of something. A fraction consists of two numbers and a wee bar in between the two numbers. The number on the top of a fraction is called the numerator. The number on the bottom of the fraction is called the denominator. And there's a wee bar in between them, separating the numerator from the denominator. To add or subtract fractions, the denominators, the numbers on the bottom, must be the same. To add or subtract fractions, the denominators, the numbers on the bottom, must be the same. How do you go about that? How do you make sure that the denominators on the bottom of the fractions are the same? To do that, you must choose a common number. Let's look at how to choose that common number. We must choose the smallest number that can be divided by both of the numbers on the bottom of the fractions. So we need to choose the smallest number that can be divided by both the denominators. Let's look at this example here. We have 5 twelfths plus 3 sixteenths. 5 twelfths plus 3 sixteenths. As you can see, the denominators, the numbers on the bottom, are not the same. We've got 5 twelfths and 3 sixteenths. So the denominators are not the same. We need to have the denominators the same if we're able to add these two fractions. So what we need to find is what is the smallest number that can be divided by both 12 and 16. We need to find the smallest number that can be divided by both 12 and by 16. What numbers can be divided by 12? The answer to that is the 12 times table. For example, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, etc. What numbers can be divided by 16? So that's going to be the 16 times table. For example, 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96, 112, etc. So we need to find a common number. What is the smallest number that can be divided by both 12 and 16? Here's the 12 times table, the start of it. Here's the 16 times table, the start of it. So we need to find the smallest number that appears on both the 12 times table and the 16 times table. So the smallest number that appears on both the 12 times table and the 16 times table is 48. 48 is going to be our common number. Here's our sum of fractions again, 5 twelfths plus 3 sixteenths. What do we need to do to change 5 twelfths into 48ths? So to change 12 to 48, we had to multiply 12 by 4. 12 fours, 48. So whatever we do on the bottom, we must do on the top. So we need to multiply the top number by 4 also. So it's 5 times 4. 5 times 4 equals 20. So 5 twelfths, the equivalent in 48ths, is 20 48ths. Let's look at the 16ths now, the 3 sixteenths. To change from 16 to 48, we had to multiply 16 by 3. 3 times 16 is 48. So similarly to what we did with the 5 twelfths, we have to multiply the 3 on top of the 3 sixteenths by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 sixteenths in 48ths is 9 48ths. So we've gone from 5 twelfths and 3 sixteenths to 20 48ths and 9 48ths. We must have the denominators common. Now we have the denominators common. We've chosen 48 because it's the smallest number that can be divided by both 12 and 16. So here's our sum. 20 48ths plus 9 48ths. So on the top we now have 29 because it's 20 plus 9. 20 plus 9, 29. We leave the 48 as is. You only add the top numbers, you do not add the bottom numbers. 20 48ths plus 9 48ths is 29 48ths. Now that we've had a little review of what you must do to add or subtract fractions, let's move on to the topic for this week's lesson. Improper fractions, also known as top-heavy fractions. An improper fraction has the numerator greater than its denominator. An improper fraction has the numerator, the number on the top, greater than its denominator, the number on the bottom. An improper fraction is always greater than 1 whole. An improper fraction is always greater than 1 whole. Let's look at this example. What is 5/8 plus 7/8. First things first, denominators are the same, so we don't need to change the denominators. Eighths are common to both the fractions we want to add together. 5/8 plus 7/8. We don't add the bottom number stays as it is, but we do add the top numbers. So we've got 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7 equals 12. 5/8 plus 7/8 equals 12/8. Well, for 12/8, the numerator, number on the top, is bigger than the denominator, the number on the bottom. 12 is bigger than 8. This is an example of a top-heavy or improper fraction. That's because the numerator, number on the top, is greater than its denominator, number on the bottom. 12 is greater than 8. Let's look at simplifying 12/8. First thing we do is, how many times does 8, the denominator, go into 12, the numerator? How many times does 8 go into 12? So 8 goes into 12 once. 8/8, one whole, and what remains? So we've taken 8 of the 8ths to make one whole. That leaves 4/8. We had 12, we took away 8, that leaves 4. So we have one whole plus 4/8. One whole plus 4/8. 1 and 4/8. So can we simplify 1 and 4/8? Yes, we can. 1 and 4/8 simplified is 1.5. Always simplify your fraction down to its lowest values. Let's look at this example. 9/10 plus 3/10. What does that equal? So, first things first, are the denominators the same? Yes, they are. They're both tenths, so we don't need to change the denominators. 9/10 plus 3/10. Denominator on the bottom of the fraction we just leave as tenths because that's common. On the top we've got 9 plus the 3. 9 plus 3. 9 plus 3 over 10 equals 12 over 10. 9 plus 3 equals 12. 9/10 plus 3/10 equals 12/10. 12/10 is a top-heavy or improper fraction. That's because the numerator, 12, is greater than the denominator, 10. 12 is greater than 10. How do we simplify down? Same as the previous one, we divide the denominator into the numerator. How many times will 10 go into 12? 10 will go into 12 once. One whole. 10 over 10 is a whole. Take 10 away from the 12, you've got 2 left over. So 10 over 10 plus 2 over 10. 1 whole with 2 tenths left over. Ten over 10 is 1 plus 2 tenths left over. One whole plus 2 tenths. Can we simplify that further? 1 and 2 tenths. Can we simplify that further? Yes, we can. 1 and 2 tenths can be further simplified to 1 and 1/5. Let's look at another example. 17 over 4 plus 9 over 4. What does that equal? Denominators are the same, it's quarters, fourths, so we don't need to change the denominators. 17 over 4 plus 9 over 4. Put the 4 on the bottom, that's the common denominator. And then on the top we have 17 plus 9. 17 fourths plus 9 fourths. (17 fourths plus 9 fourths). Fourth is common, and 17 plus 9 is 26. 17 fourths plus 9 fourths is 26 fourths. 17 plus 9 is 26. How do we simplify 26 over 4? 26 over 4 is a top-heavy or improper fraction. That's because 26 is greater than 4. 26 over 4 is greater than 1 whole. How do we simplify it? First things first, how many 4s go into 26? Six 4s go into 26. 6 4s are 24 with 2 left over. 24 plus 2 is 26. 4 goes into 26 6 times with 2 left over. 24 fourths plus 2 fourths. 24 fourths plus 2 fourths. 24 fourths is 6 wholes. 6 lots of 4 is 24. 6 whole 4s are 24, with 2 left over, 2 fourths. 24 fourths plus 2 fourths is 6 wholes plus 2 fourths. Six wholes plus 2 fourths is expressed as 6 wholes plus 2 fourths. So can we simplify 6 and 2 fourths? 6 and 2 fourths can be simplified as 6 and a half. 6 and 2 fourths can be simplified as 6 and 1 half. Have you understood that so far? If not, rewind and look again. Let's check your knowledge by doing a quiz. Here's quiz question number 1. 8/8 plus 6/8. What does that equal? First things first, are the denominators the same? Yes, they are. They're both 8s, so we don't need to change the denominators. We've got common denominators already, 8s. 8/8 plus 6/8. We have 8 on the bottom as our common denominator. On the top, we have 8 plus 6. 8/8 plus 6/8. Plus 6 equals 14. 8 plus 6 is 14. 8/8 plus 6/8 is 14/8. 8 plus 6, 14. 14 over 8 is a top-heavy or improper fraction. That's because the numerator, 14, is greater than the denominator, 8. 14 is greater than 8, so it's an improper fraction, or top-heavy fraction. How do we simplify it? We can't leave 14 over 8 as is. So, how many 8s go into 14? That's the first question you have to ask. 8 goes into 14 once. One whole lots of 8. 8/8. And how many left over? 8/8 and 6/8 left over. 8 plus 6 is 14. We've used 8 of the 8s from 14 to make one whole, and that leaves 6/8 left over. 8/8 is one whole with 6/8 left over. 1 whole plus 6/8. 1 and 6/8. Can we simplify further? 1 and 6/8? Yes, we can. 1 and 6/8 further simplified is 1 and 3/4. Let's look at question 2. Question 2 is 10/12 plus 6/12. What does that equal? Okay. Common denominator of 12, so we don't need to change anything there. 10/12 plus 6/12. We put our common denominator of 12 on the bottom, and then on the top we have 10 plus 6. 10 plus 6. 10/12 plus 6/12. 10 plus 6 is 16. 10/12 plus 6/12 is 16/12. 10 plus 6, 16. 16/12 is a top-heavy or improper fraction. That's because the numerator, 16, is bigger than the denominator, 12. 16 is bigger than 12. How do we simplify it? First things first, how many 12s goes into 16? 1 lot of 12 goes into 16 with 4 left over. 12 plus 4 is 16. 12 over 12 is a whole lot of twelfths with 4 twelfths left over. 12 over 12 is one whole lot of twelfths plus 4 twelfths left over. 12 plus 4 was 16. 1 whole lot of twelfths with 4 twelfths left over. Can we further simplify 1 and 4 twelfths? Yes, we can. 1 and 4 twelfths simplified is 1 and 1/3. 1 and 1/3 is the answer. Let's look at question 3. Question 3 is 25 over 3 plus 9 over 3. 25 thirds plus 9 thirds. What does that equal? Common denominator is 3 thirds, so we don't need to change that. Let's put that common denominator of 3 thirds on the bottom. On the top, the numerator, we have 25 plus 9. 25 plus 9. Denominator of 3, and 25 plus 9 is 34. 25 thirds plus 9 thirds is 34 thirds. 29. 34 thirds is a top-heavy or improper fraction. That's because the numerator, 34, is greater than the denominator, 3. It's top-heavy. The top number is bigger than the bottom number. First question, how many 3's go into 34? How many whole lots of 3's are we going to get? So we're going to get 11 whole lots of 3's. 11 3's, 33, with 1 lot of 3's left over. Over 3 is 11 whole lots of 3 with 1 lot of 3 left over. 33 plus 1 was 34, which is 11 wholes plus 1/3. 11 wholes plus 1/3 is equal to 11 and 1/3, and that's as far as we can go for simplification. 11 wholes plus 1/3, 11 and 1/3. I hope you took some benefit from this lesson. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. This is Alan Begg from McMaths signing off. See ya.